Look, Ebro in the morning. Lord Styles. Rosenberg, pay attention, man. We're about to interview a legend real quick.
Yeah, I know. I like him. And in fact, I like him personally. He's obviously a legend.
He's our friend, but
He's
he's
our
a
friend.
legend.
I'm looking through music. He's a music guy. He'll
Are
understand.
you looking through his music?
Of course.
You guys give it up for Salaam Remi right now. Salaam doesn't make a lot of public appearances. He doesn't do a lot of interviews, but right now you're doing something for the culture.
For the culture.
That you have articulated to me that is you feel a necessity for song makers, producers, songwriters, and what you're releasing over the next several years. How would you describe it?
Well, for me, it's a thing where, first of all, as I'm getting up in years and been around the industry for quite a long time, there's always a thing where I didn't want to be one of the guys who's always complaining about what everybody, young guys are doing that's not the music I want to hear. But at the same time, I can't complain about anything that's out there unless I'm contributing an option and things that I feel like need to happen. So right now, we get a lot of, the top artists also put out a lot of music all the time. They're not stingy with it, whether it's a Drake or a Future or whoever it is.
Gucci Mane put out, 3 albums since he's been out of jail, son?
Future put out 5 mixtapes last year. Drake just did 2 billion streams, still threw out 4 or 5 songs. So I'm like, you know what? At the end of the day, and before he had the Apple deal, he was still doing it on SoundCloud, just constantly putting out music. So I just looked at it like, you know what? I have to contribute not only because the record company said this is cool and this is what's going to happen, but I have to do things that I think are missing in music and things that I personally like and then share them, willingly. So I'm doing that for the culture by just kind of putting stuff forward. And the music that I'm putting on this first 50 songs includes No Panty, includes Champagne Flutes, Bossa Nova, R&B. I haven't even touched all my realms of music, so that's why I need to do it every few months. I didn't do any reggae yet. I didn't do so much other stuff that I work on, but I'm really just putting it back out there at the highest level and then hoping that some of my peers will do the same, because just balance out the ether in music, because I feel like there's a lot of people who would like to hear different things, but they just don't always have access to it at the best quality.
So let's go down the business path before we get into actually talking about the records that you're going to put out and being more specific about it.
Right.
Has the business of the recording industry changed the way people that made music and have been producers and songwriters since the 90s basically prohibited or slowed them down? Like there's a distaste with streaming, or the fact that the deals aren't as big, or the obviously the albums, people don't make money on album sales anymore. That's not how you make money. There's so much music that's stolen. Is that why the great songwriters and producers are slow to put music up?
Well, it's that, and then also, we've become accustomed to, if you're a platinum producer, you're waiting for that platinum pack on this R&B album. I don't know what R&B albums were platinum this year or last year, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? And if you're doing things even in the hip-hop realm, there's certain things that go, and it's like, the ones that go are streamed. And a lot of times they were out before. Bryson Tiller was a breakthrough for R&B and kind of SoundCloud type music, but the reality is he was going on SoundCloud before anybody even touched it. And then the label was able to capture that fire and then, continue to spread it through his Trap Soul album. But Don't is probably still his biggest song, and it was already going in the first place. So I just looked at it, having my own label and knowing that I was, I'm still developing artists, and having a Cheerleader record by Omi, which was out already in the Caribbean, did what it needed to do. We got a remix to it, and we were able to get it up to 1 billion streams. But it was already at, probably 1 million and change when we actually approached it. So the reality is that for the music and the culture, we are going to like what we like. If you say, okay, cool, R&B music and certain things aren't happening on the black music side, but you look at the Essence Fest and look at how many people are there. There's times when I'll be in the label and it's like, well, this type of music isn't working. But then when I go through my timeline, I see nothing but filled stadiums. It was one weekend, it was like the Roots Festival, Harry Belafonte's festival, something at Shea Stadium, and everybody was in Toronto all at the same time, packed out, and something on the West Coast.
And you're like, this music is obviously working.
People want the music. It's just how they're going to get it, and then when it's marketable to, a major record company at this point, they have to take their time. They're on a different system. But I have to do what I feel like is right, and doing it for the culture for me is also like I'm not waiting to get, that's a couple $1 million worth of music for me, you know what I'm saying, for my status and what I do. But I'm like, you know what? I got to put this back out there, and I have to invest into artists I think might need a shot. And
so this is literally you paying out of your own pocket to go, not only, you obviously have your home and your places where you record and play your instruments and bring people, but you also go and pay and hire other people to help you create this music that you're giving away for free.
Definitely. I'm putting it up, giving it away for free. It's on SoundCloud, but it's also available through all streaming and all other places at the same time. And this is something separate of me and Sony. I have a deal with Sony where we go great and we have our successes for those type of pop records and things like that. But at the same time, this is just strictly Salaam saying this is what I'm doing for the right reasons. And for that, I feel like the energy that I'm getting back from it is more than I could ever ask for.
I mean, this is amazing because Salaam is a legend, and for him to take time to really dig in and provide these services. A lot of the artists that he's worked with, sometimes they don't have the ability to work with a multi-platinum winning producer. So the fact that he's actually digging also is an amazing, just for him giving back to artists that, like I know like with Bodega Bams, he's like, you were his dream producer. And you went back and really like made his dream come true.
Exactly. And then we're continuing to work. I mean, my thing is that, whether it's, just inspiring somebody to move there, being able to give some advice, there's many times that the artists that I've worked with have inspired people they never met. And then, for me, there's many things that I can do that will just open a door that I will never even know the person that benefited from it.
Right.
So the reality is for me, if I'm not putting back into the culture, and the culture is ultimately, helping start a party. Maybe there's a party where now there's a song plays and somebody gets on that stage. Even as a label, when I turn around and look at how many stages, like how many places can I even get people to perform? If I was funded and I'm here, there are not enough places all the time for things to really happen. So I'm just like that. And then also just mentoring, a little advice. Like now Bam sends me songs every day. I'm like, all right, move that one over here. Maybe I like that hook, but you can do better on this. I mean, I'm involved in basically looking for the next set of talent, because the only reason I've been able to survive for 30 years is that every couple of years I met somebody else who was the leader for their generation and able to talk to them.
It's crazy looking at when he says that you've been involved for 30 years.
Yeah.
I just don't think that you could be that old. It's not possible.
Yeah, it is.
Apparently it is.
Like,
But you did start very young.
I was very young, but
When you were first running around here at the radio station, how old were you?
I was already probably 20. I mean, by the time Hot 97 switched from
but you were with Chuck Chill
freestyling,
Out. You were carrying Chuck Chill Out's crates and
I
doing
was
clubs what year?
17, 16.
And what year was that?
88, 89.
89. Hot 97 wasn't a thing until 93, late 92, right?
Late 92.
And Chuck Chill Out was obviously the mentor for Flex too.
Exactly.
So
mentor
you
for
and Flex.
Exactly. And my dad being in the business, I'd already known like Marley. I probably knew Marley before I even knew Chuck. And, still met Red Alert. I've been around hip hop. I've seen things come up from the bottom. And once again, this New York built me. This New York energy built me. And it's all different cultures. The Caribbean culture, the Latin culture, the music, this is all part of who I am. And for me, I look at it like, the rest of the country is definitely represented club-wise, definitely represented music-wise. But I'm always just like, all right, cool. I just got to put my element forward, hoping that somebody else is sparking to put their element forward.
In your opinion, I'm sure in what you just spoke about was the catalyst for why you did the No Panty movement
Right.
this past summer and put out that project, West Side Highway Story. I want to get some records off that. I want to play Icy's on Deck. I really like the title track, West Side Highway Story, on some storyteller New York bar shit. Like that shit is dope. But do you believe one of the main factors in New York that has changed hip hop, not only the gentrification where there's really like, the street element and that street culture element of New York has changed significantly because people have moved out of New York, right? It's gotten very expensive. Mm-hmm. But do you think it's the club scene as well?
I mean, it's always been the club scene. The club scene.
Because where's other than strip clubs, where's the
clubs actually built? I mean, this is what I saw in the 80s when it became the hip house movement. When there used to be like, Run DMC concert and everybody wilded out at the Run DMC concert in the Garden. And then, Brooklyn went around the top and was singing Go Stetzer for extra too long. And then next thing you know, the hip hop clubs, all got shut down, the self-destruction movement. And then right out of that came hip house because the dudes that were at the hip hop clubs like, yo, I'm trying to see some girls. So, the dudes in Onyx had dreads and they were dancing. They was a part of that crew. And then I still picked up my first group, Jiggy, out of the dancer crew. That was all there and moving around, and then they were dancing for special ed and for, different YG or YZ or different people, moving around. So I think that this has happened before, and definitely the clubs play a big element in you being able to hear music that's not even radio ready. Because as we know, Hot 97 is able to do a little bit something and be more to the ground of the city. But in general, radio a lot of time has to kind of follow suit of what's going on in the nation. Mm-hmm. In the nation, if we go, I've been to parts of Elizabeth where I'm talking to people and I'm like, yo, where you from? Elizabeth? You know what I'm saying? What's happening? What's going on?
Yeah, and they sound like they're from the South.
sound like closer to Philly or
Yeah.
the South and everything else. So I'm just really clear that the elements of certain music, when we had Club Speed, the Tunnel, certain things, the music was there. And I don't even want to be nostalgic about it. There's a new space, there's a new voice. It's just who's going to be great forever. There's certain people that say, yo, I'm great for this time, or I got the record that's popping this week. Cool, but who's going to be that dude that can really say I do this all the time? You know what I'm saying? And that's what I look
and the
forward to.
evolution of the reason I brought that up is because I think the evolution of the ways people socialize and find the music that is the soundtrack to their lifestyle, right, will forever evolve. It will never always be the same. So to hold on to just the 90s sound or to hold on to a specific era, I think it's a detriment to the culture, and that's why you're doing this thing for the culture, so that you can contribute.
And I also, I'm 45, so at the end of the day, my focus and where I'm from, I'm always going to be the dude who jumps up when Rising to the Top or
for sure,
or Rebel Without a Pause comes on. That's what I'm going to do. But also, there's somebody else who becomes as prolific for their generation, who also understands putting a great song together. Right now, what we have for me is just a lot of the wave and. What I had to say to a young artist that's doing that, it's like, do you say your bud man's the greatest because he hit you with one piece of bud that was it, or two? Now, you're going to have that bomb all the time, that real bomb, if that's the case. And if something's really it, you have to make something that's truly great for the timeline of music and really get there. And, it takes a little work. You have to keep going.
Salaam Remi, Rosenberg, I know you got.
I just want to say,
well, hang on, we got to go. I want to play something off the No Panty project.
Okay,
what you
know
gonna
what I'm saying?
do?
I want to play West Side Highway Story because I feel like it's a dope ass story. It's a dope New York story. It's a dope love story. It's a dope, banging out a joint, and it turns out that was your man's joint, and then now it's your side joint, and it's a mess, and it's a good story. I think it's something that people can relate to, and it's dope. What's the sample on this West Side Highway Story?
There's no sample. That
No
was all
sample.
Played over. Yeah.
All played over.
Yeah, I just
all
listened to
original.
a lot of stuff. I'm playing the upright bass on there. My boy Vince is playing the guitar. We just in the zone.
But it sounds classic.
All the time.
All the time. Salaam Remi's right here, Ebro in the morning. We'll be right back. That's West Side Highway Story, the movement, No Panty. That's Bodega Bams, Joel Ortiz, and Nitty Scott. Why the name No Panty? That's been
I hate the name.
He hates the name.
So, Rosenberg, I got the spot. Today's Thursday. Spot where we kind of do some hip hop and play some Latin music. It's called No Panty Thursday. You want to come through and check it out at the
Yes. I get it. No, as a club, I get it.
All right, cool.
I
That's
find
all
it. I find it. I don't know. I just felt like it was confusing. A white,
He feels awkward pronouncing
and
it.
nerdy rap fans, I just feel like wouldn't would.
It's all good. It's not for them. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you go to the spot and you want that good food, do you learn how to say it? If you met you're married, but if you met the beautiful Latin woman and you was like, dang, she speaks no English, but would you learn your words to figure it out?
That's a good point.
All right, so cool. If you like it, then what in earth was a Run DMC in 82?
Very good point.
All right, then cool. So then it will be defined by what it is.
I hope you're right because the music's incredible. I just, it's not that I hate. By the way, I think it's cool. I think conceptually it's a cool name.
But we've seen this before. Like, we didn't know what a Beyonce was when we first heard it. We was like,
It's hard to say it.
What is
I
that?
still can't say
remember.
Nicole Sugar's name.
Yeah, me neither.
That wasn't even close.
I stopped trying.
Who?
Nicole Scherzinger.
Nicole
see,
Scherzinger.
Nicole Scherzinger.
Don't put that pressure on me. Like,
How do you pronounce the name of the group?
No Panty.
She
No
sounds pretty
Panty.
normal when he says it.
No Panty.
It's when Laura says it, when she's like, Oscar de la Cuya.
And basically,
You're
all
like,
that came out of was me remembering times when you were in a party, and then I don't know where I got it from, but somehow it was just like somebody's in the party and everybody's singing No Panty, No Panty, and everybody's like who, where, like how,
yeah, what is this?
It didn't even make it. It was
Who's
just
the
like
loose girl running around with no panty?
it was in a circle, and just the whole idea that there might be something there. Like I said,
Well,
the eyebrow
I've
raise.
seen girls do it with themselves, celebrating a friend who was brave enough to go out on a hot day and literally wearing no. I've seen girls do it. I've never seen dudes doing it because that's weird. Dudes celebrating no panty in public is weird. I've seen girls do it though.
However it goes,
I'm watching,
the
for
fun
sure.
smile that you got.
Yeah.
That's all it was. So I didn't
Right, without creating a vibe.
I didn't
based
necessarily say no. I was thinking we started with the after party after I looked at that was something I had left over from Angie Martinez's classic Live at Jimmy's.
Ah,
So
right,
that was
right,
the
right,
remix.
right,
So
right.
that's where it started. Okay, I could do this for the parade. Then I was like, hey, this kind of sounds all right. You know what? Let's just vibe out. Then we start a little bit Icy's on deck. I'm like, you know what? Let's just come down. And that was 4 days of us vibing on it. And I was like, what should we call it, Joe? I was like, I don't know. I like No Panty. And Nitty was like, I like it. Because I thought, Nitty might not be with it. No Panty. She was like, nah, that's the wave. Like, that feels right. So I was like, all right.
Really, Nitty,
That
it
would've-
feels right.
Does it?
Nitty, really.
Life is good. Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's fun. It's a smile. I mean, that's really what it's supposed to do for you. It's supposed to bring a smile and, be some music. I feel like there's a lot of reasons for us to be upset. This is healing. You know what I'm saying? I want you to play it, escape into it, go to the vibe where we at.
But it is
know what I'm saying?
also, I mean, just to be real, to me, the project is more than like that specific vibe. Like that, because it's in-depth storytelling and real New York rap too. Not to say that that couldn't be included in that. It's just not what it connoted to me personally.
Understood. Like I said, you read the label before you.
Right. Or it was the opposite. But like, but we'll see, man. I hope. What's the plan for it moving forward for those three?
We got a few videos actually being shot now that we're going to be dropping between now and January. So they're out shooting and moving around and doing stuff, and they're still also working on their separate projects. So
Musically, they're so good though.
Tight.
Like you never know when you put three people together that's gonna sound good.
I kind of felt it.
But you had a hunch.
Nah, because I liked them separately, and then I just said, okay, here, this is where it's at. Can y'all step up to it? And it was always a question, who was going to step up? And what I did intentionally is I gave them all separate songs to start. So I said, okay, Ola, I want Bam to start this, because Joel actually had a song on it 10 years ago when he was on Aftermath. So I was like, you know what, Bams, you start this. And then Bam wrote the verse. I'm like, I don't know. I think you could do better, until he hit what was Ola. Then Joel started Icy's on Deck, and Joel started West Side Highway Story. Then I said, Nitty, you going to start singing my song. So I gave them different records, because I felt like each of them would kind of take it somewhere different. And then the other two had to either catch up and be in the vibe, or you wasn't going to be on that song.
Right.
Right.
So
right,
basically, every song, Bam started built like this. And then he was like, all right, cool. And I was like, Nitty, what you going to say now? You built like this? Crime? She was like, 'cause I'm such a... And then I just the wave kept going, but it was all 4 days. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day.
Crazy.
And then I took it and put it on SoundCloud just to see if maybe I like it, see if anybody else likes it. Great response. So then I, spent the money, cleared the samples, and made it available.
Maybe you
for
just
real.
combine all their names and call them Joidiams.
That's no.
No one? All right.
Whatever it's going to be, it's going to be.
So, Salaam, this project for the culture, 50
Right.
songs that you're slated to drop over the next. You're just gonna keep people how can they follow this? Like, is this like one project? Is this multiple?
It's a playlist, basically. So it's multiple projects. I have it all on doitfortheculture.club, but then also, have playlists on the Spotify's and Apple Music's and everywhere else that Do It For The Culture. And still across it, each artist has their separate album, that's still available within it, on their separate SoundClouds and together. So it's No Panty, the Champagne Flutes, myself and Terry Walker from London, who has a great fan base and a career there, Mercury-nominated music award, all types of things there. That project is her in the bossa nova, orchestral. It's a different set of music. At the end of the day, I made the music that I chill in the crib and listen to,
right.
and something I felt that other people would enjoy. Sex All Summer is me and Young Jizzle from Baltimore. Really Marvin Gaye feeling, totally, I don't even know how to say it. It's cuffing season music. You know what I'm saying? It's something you play in the crib. It's like, lay back. That's what it is. It's music for lovers. And, I felt like that was necessary at this time of the year.
And this stuff is available now.
right now. And
So, Champagne Flutes, Sex All Summer,
then
No
May,
Panty.
No Panty. Mira May, dope Algerian-born singer from Tottenham, North London. Her debut EP in 15. You know what I'm saying? The banging song up there, Benji, I Don't Wanna. The whole thing is just her own zone. And then I also have a few songs that I did with other artists that never came out on their projects. So I have a Friend Zone song by El Varner that's now available. I also have Cheating on Us by BJ the Chicago Kid, something that we wrote at the crib one day, and I was like, hey, let's make it available. And Mac Wild's song called Camouflage. It's actually me featuring Mac Wiles, and Nitty Scott has a verse on it as well.
Nice.
I want to hear that. Let's play that right now.
That's tight.
So that means that we get to see you more often because you're gonna be coming back with more and more projects. So what is this? Once a month? We gonna get it? Is this
about every
week?
3 months.
Every 3 months.
I'm giving a little space so that they can breathe and percolate. But I'm already like 80% through the next 50.
Really?
Yeah.
So you far ahead. Yeah. So here's a couple questions I have for you. We're gonna play this Mac Wiles Nitty Scott joint Salaam Remi produced. I know you've done work with Lauryn Hill.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously in your resume is Amy Winehouse.
Mm-hmm.
Will you be working with Lauryn Hill in the future? Is she putting out future projects, or are you not privy to that?
She has music. She has a lot of music that I didn't necessarily produce. She's done her own production. I haven't done anything with her since like Sweetest Thing remix, probably.
Wow.
But I know she has some music, and I'm hoping that she might drop off a Christmas present or two.
Not Salaam.
Never
I
know.
don't even know if I'm supposed to say this.
Well,
But
here's
hold
the
on,
thing,
hold on.
guys. Salam's a liar.
Yeah.
All right? Let me just go on record and say Salaam will lie to your face
What were you gonna
about
say?
what he's working on.
I said we've talked about this behind the scenes. I'm a big Amy Winehouse fan, and he has records, Amy Winehouse records that I
I
don't
don't
know.
really have records right now.
You told me you had a couple.
You have a few songs.
Will
Not like
they
that.
ever?
I mean, we
will
put
you,
out
will
most
you
of
ever,
what it is
Will you
on
ever
that.
put them out?
I don't know. I don't think so. No, I think right now what's there is already been done on the Lioness album. That was the body of. I was trying to get it all out of my system, like here, wrap this and lock it in 2011, so I could go on with my life.
And
and not
you were in
keep
a lot of
digging into
pain
that.
back then. That actually took you away from the scene for a while.
Yeah, I needed a few years to chill because I felt like I was putting chord changes to people's problems, and then they still couldn't fix their problems. And that, as a musical therapist, wasn't really great for me at that moment. So I just felt like, I'm gonna chill for a minute.
Wow.
And then now it's to the point where, even the records that I'm personally producing, as a label, I'll sign stuff, I'll see it, I'll pick it up. But what I'm personally working on is what I personally feel. So this is live, the bass line's coming from my heart. This is my vibration of what I'm putting out. No Panty, that sounds like them on vocals, but it really sounds like me musically. I'm really just expressing myself fully.
And I like that you act. A lot of people use the term "for the culture." It literally means nothing, but you're actually contributing to the culture.
Yes.
Yeah, and very cultural music because that's where I live. I
Right.
live in stuff that's the opposite of the norm. When we did a Made You Look, everything was Neptunes or Timberland or Swizz or certain things. Or, even when Amy Winehouse came out, that was, Nelly Furtado, Timberland time. Or when the Fugees came out, that was in the middle of Bad Boy Takeover era. Everything here was, big, total, you know what I'm saying? That was the energy of everything that was going on. But I always live, in my own pocket, doing my own thing.
Talk to me real quick, and I know you got other things you got to do, but it's not frequently we get to talk to someone who has the perspective that you have as a producer, a true producer.
Right.
Someone who not only can direct an artist or a songwriter, but also create from scratch music, right?
Right.
There's not a lot of people who do that successfully.
I cook, yeah.
You get in there, you find the sound, you take instruments and match it to that person's style, story, and help them literally find themselves and
Find their voice, basically, more than their singing voice, their writing voice. You know what I'm saying? What do you
As
say?
a producer, and I know there's rappers watching this, songwriters watching this, how does someone at your level decide who you're going to work with? Right? Because everyone sitting in this room right now gets asked all the time for their opinion on someone's music because of what we do for a living. Right? And we give them feedback based on what we hear, what we don't hear, or skill set based on our knowledge. For Salaam Remi, I'm sure you get approached all the time with the same questions. How do you decide when you're like, you got something special, and I'm gonna give you my time so that we can create something amazing?
So there's two sides of it, and I call them both voice, but they're two different things. One is that I'm a person who really likes distinctive voices. So whether it is a Lauryn Hill voice, a Amy Winehouse voice, a Jasmine Sullivan voice, a Miguel voice, I'm into tones of people's voices because the way that they actually speak and the way that their actual voice comes across, it's one thing that I have to, when something's playing, it makes you pay attention. Like, did you hear what they
Cuts
said?
through.
It cuts through, and it gives me enough room that their voice actually, it's not like we need, 30 double tracks to make this voice into a voice. I'm into people having great voices. So that's number one for me. Number two is their voice lyrically. What's their wordplay? Do they have a story? Are they saying something that actually makes sense? And do they have the ability to actually express themselves in a way that now keeps your eyebrows up, makes you nosy, makes you like, what'd you just say? Keep talking. Like, what is this? Am I actually feeling your story in the first few sentences that now makes me want to see the rest of the paragraph? What's your headline? What's your thing? And for me, not every artist that I've worked with actually had the full package, whether it was like an Amy, even the Fugees. Like they had ideas, but they didn't necessarily have the focus on what's the headline, how to get it across. So for me, I'm just listening to someone's story and then asking them a few questions and trying to help them crystallize what their story is. So then now, if they have the voice, now you had that story, now we got a show. Now whatever music's underneath it, whether it's a orchestra or just a break beat or a finger snap and a water drop, it doesn't make a difference because that voice is now totally has you, weak in the knees. You know what I'm saying? If it was SWV or
I
all the way
get
down.
so
Okay.
weak in the knees.
That's not necessary.
Exactly.
Okay.
What you just
Big
did
up
wasn't
band.
necessary.
But
It's a
anyhow,
moment,
you know
though.
what I'm saying? But in general, just like whatever the record is, now you start feeling that emotion, and now that story is there. You're getting that feeling. You're totally into it.
How often?
I'm so into you because he said into it.
No.
Follow on the week. An SWV callback?
I got it.
That's the remix, right? All right.
Yeah. You know.
How many times a day do you get to tell somebody that they suck and that they're trash?
I actually don't tell people that.
I was about to say, I
So
doubt
what do
he
you tell?
does.
What do you tell?
I maybe give them a suggestion on what it may be. I think people have to find their own journey. There's a lot of people who've been told that they suck and they trash that actually ended up ruling the world.
That's right.
So I'm not the person that's really gonna be like, you're trash. I might tune out, you know what I'm saying? Certain things.
So you just ignore them?
He just
it's
fades away.
Certain things that, I have sensitive ears. So I hear what you're saying under what you're saying. And I'm like, you know what I'm saying? It starts to grate my soul if I'm listening to it. But
Right. Even if you hear content in there that you just fundamentally don't like or agree with or feel.
not even content. I'm just like, like I said, I'm really good at ignoring. There's so much stuff that's good in the world. It's just so easy. And I love silence too. So, I tell the
Shout to Silence, yo. My favorite. That's my favorite music.
popping. Because I can actually hear the music in my head, the good stuff. But yeah, I don't tell people that. I mean, because honestly, some people, who are artists and then they end up becoming radio hosts or they become other stuff that actually is
It's
their
another
artist express-
creative outlet.
creative outlet. They
Yeah.
become the A&Rs. They become a
You talking?
producer.
Oh, so you're saying Ebro? Ebro's played you something before it was trash.
Nah, I'm just saying whatever happened to Ebro's, R&B career, it doesn't make a
Very
difference.
good point,
Because he was
Salaam.
able to find another way to channel his
Very
efforts.
good point,
Very
Salaam.
good point.
Ebro once made trash music, and now look at
No,
him.
my music was amazing.
Basically. However it was,
You're
the fact
quiet,
is,
you're
quiet.
the fact is he
can't.
found
See,
his,
I tried to
his
bait
other
y'all to
platinum.
go, no, it's trash.
He got platinum albums for another part of the process.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, for sure. Salaam, fortheculture.club is where you could go. Now, did I hear you say you could,
doitfortheculture.club.
or doitfortheculture.club, did I hear you say that you could register and so you'll get like updates like music and the music just comes right to you?
Exactly. You join the club on the doitfortheculture.club. Things will come right to you. You get all the alerts, all the pieces, Going to build it all out. This is just the beginning of this process. But at the end of the day, I'm hoping to build a community. And then also, I'm just looking to inspire people to do whatever it is. There are a lot of people who are legends in their own right, in their own space. They just might need somebody to give them a little positive energy. And I'm, exuding positive energy on my every step.
Always
At
positive.
Salaam Remi, too. You can add him. You can deliver all your trash music right to him, and he
Stop,
will not tell
stop,
you it's trash.
Stop. Don't do that. Wait, real quick.
this man.
I read somewhere that you're giving people an opportunity to get into the studio with you. Is that with the Back to Black cover contest for the Amy Winehouse Foundation?
So that's one thing. Basically, they came to me and said, hey, why don't, it's 10 years of Back to Black? And I'm just like, yo, we just won an Oscar, this, that, and the third. It's like 5 years going, really? So they were like, no, do you want to have somebody sing the song over that you produced? And I'm like, nah. So why don't we do it this way? Because I thought about what Amy would say. Why don't we now open the floor and give, people in the Back to Black challenge, hey, here's the instrumentals of a couple songs. Let me hear you sing Just Friends. Let me hear you sing Tears Dry on Their Own. And pay homage that way rather than me saying I'm going to get the biggest artist in the world supposed to be to sing over this song and then act like it's the greatest thing since sliced
Right.
bread.
And you
'Cause
don't like it as much as
'cause
Amy,
Amy
right?
would be, just sending vibes from wherever she is. It'll be the automatic lightning strikes or something like that. It's like, why? Why are we going to do that? But that's something I plan on doing in the future. Definitely just giving up instrumentals and then like, who got that song? Like kind of reggae style.
Salaam
saying?
instrumentals.
I like it.
Salaam Instrumentals is awesome.
That would be too close to Peace instrumentals.
I know, that's where I got it from.
Pete would burn fire upon me and
Yeah, facts.
cuss me and say, well, I never sent him the manga. Sorry, Pete. But, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't do that. But something in that zone where, like I said, I want to give people a shot. And at the end of the day, I feel like if you have the talent, people have done that to me, took instrumentals that they found of mine and then actually wrote songs and sent it to me. I put up some drums, they put a song to it, sent it back. So I just think that whatever I could do to keep creating a platform for people to now find their voice and for, whatever I can do industry-wise as well, help creating spaces where people can really build up all this stuff. That's what I want to do. I want to partner with parties. I want to partner with, tastemakers. Oh, you got some people let's put it together. Let's create an avenue for mofos to grow and do what they got to do.
And make better music than
All
the
day.
trash music. You know what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying?
It's all about the trash.
But you know
It's
what
all
the
about
trash
avoiding the
music?
trash.
I ain't gonna call nobody's music trash. Maybe it's just for you and your friends.
It's my guy.
Your
man.
bag. You know what I'm saying?
Such a positive
It's
guy.
all
That's
good. It's
Salaam.
my guy.
Have fun.
Salaam.
That's
My
yours.
guy, Salaam.
You got that? That's yours. In
That's
your
right.
house or your car.
See, now
what
you
I'm saying?
shitting. Yo, I was supposed to be that. You can't just start subbing cats on the way out, man.
Neatly, though. You know what I'm saying? Neatly.
Nicely
With a
and
grin.
nicely.
Your smile's better than mine, so it works
At
out.
Salaam Remi. Add him. Send him your SoundCloud link. He will listen for sure.
Yeah.
Salaam.
So long.